Hello guys, welcome to United's Glory. So a few days after Manchester United's embarrassing opening day defeat to Crystal Palace of all teams, a team managed by ex-England manager, sacked England manager Roy Hodgson, where we saw Ole Gunnars Solskjaer schooled tactically throughout each phase of the game, we've had a few days to calm down. Now, obviously I've been critical of how Ole prepared for that game. I know it's not all his fault though, so I want to make this video to say that I am not Ole out by any means. As far as I'm concerned, Board out first, Glazers out first, Woodward out first before we even get to Ole. That doesn't mean I think Ole has no weaknesses in his game, but there's something far deeper. There are root causes to the failure for Manchester United on the pitch. We're going to talk about that in this video. So first of all, just to address anybody that would be Ole out after one loss, after a long unbeaten run in the Premier League last year, it's ridiculous. It's emotional reactivity, nonsense basically. Why would you sack a manager after losing one game? Okay, look, the PE teacher slang has been attributed to Ole for quite a while now, but it's justified because tactically on the pitch, he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. Once Plan A fails, we're all over the shop. Modern football is all about how efficient your system is on the pitch, and Manchester United don't really seem to have one. We seem to rely on individual brilliance all around the park to win as a game, and of course that can work, but when the going gets tough, it tends not to work. But whilst Ole does have to shoulder a lot of the blame for that defeat to Crystal Palace on the opening day, whether you think Ole got a lot wrong or not, which I do by the way if you've seen my video on the match review for the game against Crystal Palace, there's no way Ole could have been fully prepared for this match the way a Manchester United manager should be for the first game of the season. Forget Ole puts Zidane, Poch, Pep, Klopp in charge of that team. They would all be going into the first game of the season fully unprepared. Because of why? The board. Ed Woodward and particularly the greedy leeches known as the Glazers. The people who run this club, they own the club and we can't escape them. So as fans, we must not turn against Ole. Even if he does have weaknesses, sure. Can he turn that around? Yeah, sure. People progress, people grow. But ultimately, we have to make sure that the running of this club changes before we even consider changing the manager, because we've had good managers in the past. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of Mourinho's style, but we did not back Mourinho for the type of football he wanted to play. We didn't get in the players that he wanted. So Poch, I think he's a great manager. I think he'd be a great suit for Manchester United. Do I think he's a better manager than Ole? Yes, I do, based off what I've seen Tottenham perform in the last few seasons under Poch compared to what we've seen with Ole. And I've seen a lot of progress from Ole, but I still say Poch is a better manager based on what we've seen. You put, like I said, you put Poch in charge of this team, you're still not going to get the optimum performances from a Poch side in Manchester United, because ultimately he could come in, have a good first season and the board just won't back him because they'll be satisfied with where their club lies. Now, looking at the Premier League earnings for the last few years, the difference between coming first and second in terms of reward money is literally £2 million. Now, we've been after Sancho all summer. Does Sancho make us win the title? No, I think we need more than that, but that only lends more to my point. We need to put an outlay of around 100 million on Sancho. Dortmund want 108 million. Maybe we can whittle it down, but ultimately they want around 100 million. The board are bankers. They are businessmen. To win the title, which is what the fans want, to be competing for the title, the board need to spend 100 million to basically bring in an extra 2-3 million. In terms of the prize money for winning the Premier League, even 2 years ago, when Manchester City won the league and Man United came 6th, the difference between how much we made and how much they made for winning the title from 1st to 6th was around £9.5 million from 1st to 6th. So we've come 3rd this season. That payment between coming 3rd and coming 1st is even less. Of course, coming in the top 4, you get Champions League entry money, which completely eclipses what you earn for the Premier League. The financial gains from qualifying for the Champions League are huge. You get far more revenue from being in the Champions League. And of course, Manchester United sponsors, Adidas, have a clause in their contract where they pay us more if we're in the Champions League. And if we don't qualify for the Champions League in successive seasons, then the money drops. Of course, we've made it to the Champions League this year, so, we're getting all that extra revenue. Now, the next step up is winning the Premier League. We're not going to win the Champions League unless we get loads of massive strokes of luck, or we actually completely overhaul this team in the next few weeks of this transfer window. At the end of the day, the next step is winning the Premier League, but looking at it from the Glazers' perspective, their incentive is to make money because they are a business. They don't see us as a football club. But they would need to put an outlay of over 100 million, not just on Sancho, but even more, considering we need more than that, to basically earn an extra 9.5 million. The incentive for them is not there. To make that step up to challenge for the Premier League title, to win the Premier League title, they are going to lose over £100 million. As a business model, that is disastrous. It's bad for business. Of course, we're not just a business. We're a football club. There are business aspects. But first and foremost, we are a football club. Those fans want to see the team successful on the pitch. We are used to glory. We are an elite club, and we should move in elite club style. If it means winning the Premier League, you get the players necessary to win the Premier League, and you hold that status that will carry you on earning this kind of money for the next few years. But ultimately, the Glazers are just sucking money out of this club. We've already seen reports on how they've taken out over 90 million from the club and put no money of their own into the club. As we've seen with other clubs in the Premier League, they are leeches and they are sucking the life out of this club. If we were just a business and not a football club, you've got to say they're doing a great job. But we're not. We're a football club. And the interests of the business contradict the interest of being a successful football club. Look, does Jadon Sancho win us the Premier League? I don't think so. But obviously, it does move us closer to what the points tally of Liverpool was last year. And that's ultimately what we need to do. We at least need to halve that points difference between us and Liverpool from last season. It was over 30 points, so that's a big gap to close. Jadon Sancho helps us do that. Liverpool, despite being better than us last year, have strengthened more than us this summer. So looking at it from that stance, you've got to say that points lead will only increase this year, which means progression won't be made from Manchester United and the fingers will be pointed at Ole. But no, we must make sure the fingers are pointed firmly at the Glazers and Ed Woodward because they're bankers, businessmen, not football men. Jadon Sancho should have been in for the first game of the season, ready and prepared to play. And who knows, he may have changed the result. We saw the same thing with Bruno Fernandes last January. We signed him at the end of the window. We could have signed him at the beginning of the window. We could have had an even more successful season. But of course, it's all about money for the Glazers, not about success on the pitch. We need to get Jadon Sancho in now and leave more room this summer to get Deadwood out as well as bring other players in because we need more than just Jadon Sancho if we truly want to have a progressive season this year. What is progress this year? Well, I'd say closing that gap. I don't expect a title challenge this year, but we've got to close that gap significantly, maybe win an FA Cup or League Cup and get far in the Champions League as far as we can. Can we do that with this current squad? Yes, I do think we can, but only to a certain degree. Not enough of a degree, though. That's why we need to bring these players in and keep progressing, keep the momentum going, keep the positivity going, because it just took a major hit in the first game of the season. Anyway, that is why the Glazers are responsible for Ole's nightmare start. Ole isn't absent to blame, and he does need to keep progressing himself. But as far as I'm concerned, before we ever change a manager again, we've got to point the finger at the Glazers and the board and Ed Woodward, because we keep seeing the same cycle over and over again. Manager does well, gets us in the Champions League. They don't back him, so we can't progress any further. We only go backwards. They sack that manager, we get a new manager. Repeat, rinse, repeat. Of course, guys, let me know what you think down in the comment section. This channel is all about helping Manchester United return to their glory days. Let's not drop the bar. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with all notifications clicked on to get more Manchester United videos as soon as they come out. Leave a like on the video if you think the Glazers are responsible for our bad start to the season. Until next time, talk soon.